resign in condemnation.
Now, among the ambassadors who have resigned is Ali al-Essawi, the former Libyan ambassador to India.
This is a madman. This is a madman, and psychologically, he's not stable.
Even those within his inner circle begin to defect.
I was performing my duties as a diplomat, and no more, no less. First, when I resigned, and I condemned what was happening in my country, the two daughters of mine was brought to the Libyan TV to speak and saying that everything was going okay in Tripoli, no bombing, no killing, no this and that. And what Daddy is saying is not the correct. They did say lie, but they said that it is not correct. Well, you know, they're under custody, but in their house. I mean, in any moment he can pick them up and God knows what will happen. Our revolution, it is more bloody than the Egyptian one and the Tunisian one. I mean, imagine in a week we had already 500, 600 dead. Now we are over 1,000. You say, I am a saint. But meanwhile, when you say I am a saint, you are doing a diabolic act. So you are not anymore a saint, but you are a devil.
Defections of military and air force chiefs and even whole units enable the movement to take control of large parts of the country. They say orders to target civilians pushed them to defy Gaddafi. Qasim forfeited his career in the Air Force in 2005 to escape Gaddafi's Libya. He has been struggling to find work in Europe ever since and to stay out of reach of the regime's hitmen.
للأسف الشديد يعني شهائدنا من ليبيا سواء كان طبيب من ليبيا متخرج من ليبيا أو طيار شهايد غير معترف بهم وبالتحديد هنا في بلجيكا نظام التعليم عندهم عالي جدا. طبيعة العمل الذي كنت أقوم به في ليبيا يعني السرب اللي كنت أشتغل به هو سرب مضاد للغواصات، يعني مراقبة الشواطئ، حماية الشواطئ الليبية من أي هجمة قد تكون من البحر أو عبر الغواصات، بحاول رصد تحرك الغواصات في البحر. على سبيل المثال لما تم إعدام خميس الغناي من أحد القبائل الموالية للقذافي تم إعدامه وحضروا لنا هذا الشريط وشاهدناه شبه بالقوة، يعني حضروا لنا أنك لازم تحضر وتشاهد هذا الشريط فقط لترهيب. خروجنا من ليبيا كان لضغوط، يعني كانت الاستدعاءات من المخابرات، التحقيقات المتكررة، يعني في تضييق على الحريات، يعني في تضييق يعني بشكل رهيب. يعني أناديكم أخوتي في ليبيا جميعا أن تتحركوا باتجاه طرابلس، إنها المعقل الأخير لنظام القذافي.
Voices like Qasim's have been tireless in trying to expose human rights abuses in Libya. But as Gaddafi posed less of a threat to the West, governments there lost interest in his abuse of human rights.
The leader of Libya, Colonel Muammar al-Gaddafi, publicly confirmed his commitment to disclose and dismantle all weapons of mass destruction programs in his country.
In 2003, Libya gave up its ambitions to develop nuclear weapons to become Europe's fourth largest oil producer.
When Libya came out of the cold, and I hear a lot of foreign people talking about how Gaddafi has changed. As far as Libyans are concerned, Gaddafi hasn't changed the slightest.
And who has to feel shame? The people who bowed to him and kissed his hand. I did not bow to him, and I did not kiss his hand. Unfortunately, foreign governments, they bowed to him and they kissed his hand, like they're kissing the hand of a saint.
He's very erratic, very irresponsible, and And everyone knows, but because he's pumping oil, because he has control over that oil, people are willing to dismiss anything he does.
Libya's oil fields now lie in the eastern half of the country Gaddafi has lost to the uprising. In his battle to remain, Gaddafi has set his people against one another. What began as a protest has become a fight for the future.
I received a Twitter from a youth in Libya, and this probably was the hardest one I got, and most life-changing. And it says, I can't specifically quote what he said, but from what I remember, I'm paraphrasing. He said, "We, the youth in Libya, will topple the regime down, and you, the people outside of Libya, you need to come back and rebuild the country." And I'm determined to make it, to make his dream come true, and we will go back and we will rebuild Libya.
Especially my daughter, she's very upset because she has she said to me, why we can't go home, Dad? And the first thing, I want to take them to Benghazi, and I walk the streets of my hometown with them. And that would be the greatest feeling for me.
If you're a Nokia user, you can download AlJazeera's news widget from Nokia's OV store. The news widget, available on compatible Nokia devices, from AlJazeera English. See the world in real time. AlJazeera Mobile.
He's taken stolen goods and he's now dumping them onto the world without any sort of consideration.
Will be saved a lot of trouble. I think it is important that they should come together.
To those it affects.
We do accept that there was very bad mistakes made in our banking area.
Behind the headlines.
Most South Koreans are not interested in reunification.
Is the inside story. At this time on Al Jazeera.
Breaking news from Libya. Heavy gunfire breaks out in Tripoli. We'll speak live to a reporter in the capital. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Divya Gopal and you're watching Al Jazeera live from Doha. Also ahead, Egyptian protesters stormed the secret police